Okay, welcome back, class 7. Today we will start a new chapter, that is chapter number 2, Kingdom Classification. Part 1 I have written because it's the beginning or the starting of this chapter. The first word is classification. In this chapter we are going to study about the different types of plants and animals. Now what is classification? The word classification means to group the organisms or the things into different categories. So classification is grouping of things into different categories. Into different categories according to similarities and differences. Categories according to similarities, that is similar characters, and differences, like if some differences or dissimilarities is there, based on them we classify or group the organisms into different types. Now if you know that in nature there are variety of plants and animals, variety of living organisms are there. So how do we classify them, all the living things? Like we classify that this particular organism is a plant. Why? Because it is green in color, because it can make food. So one characteristic is on the mode of nutrition. Plants can make their own food, animals cannot. So we classify that plants are autotrophic, whereas the animals are heterotrophic because they depend on plants for their food. The second characteristics we can take is the movement. Plants are generally fixed at one place. Plants are fixed to the ground, but animals can move from one place to the other. Animals can move from one place to the other with the help of different types of, like they have the legs to move, or they have the wings, like birds have the wings to fly from one place to the other. So animals can show the movement, plants cannot show. Plants can make their own food by photosynthesis, animals cannot prepare their own food. Similarly, some organisms are made up of single cell, they are called unicellular. Some are made up of many cells, they are called multicellular. So now next question is, what is the need of classification? Why do we need to classify? The answer is, in the nature there are variety of plants and animals. So many billions of plants and animals are there. So if we do not classify them, it will be very difficult to study about each one of them or their characteristics separately. So for example, you can see, if you go to library, in library different books of different classes on different subjects are kept in different racks. Now if all those library books were to be mixed together without taking care of which class, which subject, and if it was asked that go and get class 6 or class 7 chemistry book, it will take a lot of time searching for the class 7 chemistry book from the pile of books which are heaped together or kept together. So that's why classification is important. Why? It makes the need of classification to make our study simple and easy. To make our study simple and easy, so that we can easily study about the different groups of plants and animals. We can know about their characteristics, about their similarities, about their differences, and it saves our time. It saves our time to study the character of different plants and animals. Otherwise, we have to keep on studying them together, all the characters. Like generally we study all the plants are autotrophic, but there can be some plants which cannot make their own food, which are not able to synthesize their food. They are called non-green plants, like fungi and bacteria. So we need to classify them to get exact information about those plants or animals. Now next what we have to study is one activity there from a scientist point of view. If you think like a scientist, what will you say? That to study a diverse means variety, such a large number of plants and animals, to study a diverse group of plants and animals, classification is important, because it will help to save our time and it will make our study easier and systematic. Now next question is, or what is the advantages of classification? What are the benefits that we classify living organisms? The advantages of classification are, so many points are there. Number one, I'll try to highlight some of the points. Advantages of classification. What is the benefits of classification of organisms? I'll just point out some of them, important points. Number one, classification makes our study easier, systematic, and saves time. So it makes the study of things or organisms easy, systematic. By classification we can study them systematically, and it will also save our time. Number two, we can come to know about the relationship between the organisms. We can find their evolutionary history. So we can find evolutionary relationship between the organism, means what type of relationship is found between the different organisms according to their evolution. Then the third benefit or advantages of classification is classification help us to know the characters of different plants and animals and their similarities and differences also. So next point we can write, advantages of classification is classification, it is a base. Like we know that there are different branches of science. So classification is the base for the study of biochemistry, for the study of biogeography. So it forms a base. It forms base for the study of other branches of science like biogeography, biophysics, biochemistry. So all I can write biochemistry also. It forms a base for the study of biochemistry, biophysics, for studying other related science like biology, biogeography, ecology also you can write. Ecology is the branch of biology that deals with the study of nature, that deals with the study of living organisms and their relationship with the organisms. What type of organisms are there in the nature that is present. Now next point is, it helps in identifying organisms and categorizing them into, it helps in identifying organisms and categorizing means putting them in groups, and putting them in groups. So we can identify which organism is that, if a newly discovered organism is there, and we can also put them in the group. Like if it shows the character of plant-like, we can put them in the plants group. If it is made up of single cell, we can put them in unicellular organisms. If it is made up of more than one cell, we can put them under multicellular organisms. It also shows the evolutionary history, already I said, relationship, and it forms a base for the study of other branches of science like ecology, biogeography, biochemistry. And classification also helps to know that how organisms have evolved from the simpler to the complex types. So it helps to understand, how organisms develop from simple to complex type, like a simple organism developing into complex organism, how the evolution occurs, how the organisms develop. This is studied under advantages of classification. So hope you have understood this one. Now the next topic which we have to do is classification system. Okay, now next is classification system. What is classification system? It is a system of grouping organisms based on similarities and differences. Grouping organisms, I'll just write in short. or system I am not writing, grouping of organisms based on similarities and differences, like whatever similarities they are showing, whatever differences they are showing, based on them we form the classification system. Now you know that the organisms are classified into different groups or category. They are also known as ranks. The highest level of classification is kingdom. So kingdom is the highest level of classification, and the lowest level, the highest level of classification. Okay, the lowest level of classification is species. Lowest level. So when we start writing all the levels of classification, if you have to draw, you can draw it in your copy also. Draw the levels of classification. It starts with, like this you can do, kingdom, then comes phylum, then class, then order, then family, then next one is genus, and finally we have species. So what I have drawn here, this is called the levels of classification. This is the diagram of levels of classification. If you want, you can write 1, 2, 3, 4 also. This arrow I have shown. This highest one is the kingdom, the highest level of classification. Like the entire living things is classified into two kingdom, plant kingdom and animal kingdom. This phylum, in case of animals, we use the word phylum. Like the phylum to which we belong, human beings, that is known as chordata. We are the animals with the backbone, that is vertebrata. Whereas in case of plants, instead of phylum, we use the word division, like Phaeophyta, okay, Rhodophyta. Then next one is class, like to which class we human beings belong. Our class is known as Mammalia class. Then next one is order. So what do they indicate? All these indicate the different levels or hierarchy of classification. Hierarchy of classification. So smallest one is species. Now how to define this species? A group of interbreeding population. Interbreeding population is called species. Means if many organisms are there which can interbreed, that is produce babies among themselves, they form a species. So example, human species. So our species is sapiens, Homo sapiens. Our scientific name is Homo sapiens, that is man. The scientific name is Homo. Homo represents the genus name, and the next one is sapiens, which starts with a small letter, S-A-P-I-E-N-S. The sapiens indicate the species name. Alright. Now next we have the types of or the concept of classification. So now next we'll do concept of classification. The name of the scientist who said it. Okay. Okay. So now next is concept of classification. Classification helps us to understand the relationship among organisms. It helps us to understand the type of relationship which organisms show based on similarities and differences. Now next one, what is there? What is taxonomy? Taxonomy definition is the study of classification is called taxonomy. In your book also definition is there. That science that deals with classification. Science that deals with classification is called taxonomy. That deals with classification is called taxonomy. Now next we will study about who is father of taxonomy? Carolus Linnaeus. The name of the scientist, Carolus Linnaeus, is called the father of taxonomy. And this person, Carolus Linnaeus, he helped in giving the two kingdom system of classification. He is the founder of two kingdom system of classification. Two kingdom system of classification. He gave that two kingdom system of classification, in which he said that the entire living things are grouped into two kingdoms. What are they? Plant kingdom and animal kingdom. These two kingdoms are plant and animal. Okay, plant and animal kingdoms. These are the two kingdoms which he said. But it was not sufficient. Why? Because some organisms were there which show the characters of both plants and animals. Example, Euglena. Euglena show the characters of plants also, animals also. So it is impossible to keep them under plant or animals group because they show the characters of both the groups. That's why this two kingdom system of classification given by Carolus Linnaeus was not sufficient. Okay, he was a Swedish botanist. Now Linnaeus proposed, or he tried, the two kingdom system of classification into plants and animals. On which basis? There may be something which he had seen, or on which basis he had done the classification. It was number one, presence of cell wall. You know that plant has got cell walls, animal cells there is no cell wall. Number two, on the basis of movements, animals can move, plants cannot move. On the basis of food, plants can prepare food, animals cannot. So these are the characters on the basis of response to stimuli. Now next is scientific nomenclature. Okay, what is scientific nomenclature? Scientific nomenclature means, okay, now next we have to do scientific nomenclature. You know that Carolus Linnaeus gave binomial system of nomenclature. Carolus Linnaeus is the name of the scientist who gave binomial. Bi means two. Binomial nomenclature. Nomenclature means name. To give name is called nomenclature. Binomial nomenclature was given by Carolus Linnaeus, in which he said that each organism, that is all plants and animals, has two names. The first name is genus name, and it starts with a capital letter. It starts with a capital letter. Okay. The second one is the species name. The second name, each organism has two names. The first name is genus name, and the second name is species name, which starts with species name, which starts with a small letter. Which starts with a small letter. Alright. Now I'll give you some example. These are the rules for writing the binomial nomenclature, or writing the names. While writing the names, example man, I am writing, okay? Man is the organism, and the scientific name is Homo sapiens. Homo is the genus name, the first word is Homo, starting with a capital letter, and sapiens is a species name, starting with a small letter. So while writing the scientific name, either we write them in italics. Italics means somewhat bent like this. Italics is the form of writing. Or it is underlined. The name is underlined. So whatever we write, we can underline them. So this is one example, man. Second, I will write mango. The scientific name is Magnifera. Magnifera indica. I small I am writing, okay? Indica. Now next you will see, if I write the next scientific name of any other potato, you take Solanum, S capital, tuberosum, Tuberosum, Solanum tuberosum. Next, anyone I take, any other example you can take, maize you take, Gia maize, M-A-Y-S. Now any other, in your book also given, potato, mango, lion, okay. Take lion. Lion is Panthera leo. Tiger is Panthera tigris. Panthera leo. And tiger is Panthera, same genus, but this one, the species name will be Tigris, tigris. Okay. Now next, what are the drawbacks of Linnaeus classification? The Linnaeus two kingdom system of classification, there are certain drawbacks, not good. Why? Because number one, he placed the organisms with similar characters and differences also within one group only. Okay. Number two, unicellular and multicellular organisms, he had placed them in one group. And number three, he had placed those organisms which were photosynthetic, non-photosynthetic together in one group only. So this was also not beneficial or not good, because it was a drawback. And like there was a need to adapt some better method of classification in which we could consider about the cell structure, cytology, about the physiology, about the mode of nutrition. These things were taken into consideration, and another scientist called Whittaker, R.H. Whittaker, he had given or proposed 5 kingdom system of classification, in which what he had done, he had divided the entire living things of the world into 5 kingdoms. What are they? Number 1, plant, animal, as well as it was there in the 2 kingdom also. So plants, kingdom plant, then Monera, in which all the bacteria will included, Protista, fungi. Monera, Protista and fungi. 3 more kingdoms were added. And this system of classification is called 5 kingdom system of classification. Who gave that 5 kingdom system of classification? The name of the scientist is R.H. Whittaker. R.H. Whittaker. What he had done? He had given 5 kingdom system of classification. 5 kingdom system of classification, which was little bit better than the 2 kingdom system of classification. Okay, so today we'll continue complete up to this much only. In the next class we'll study about the 5 kingdoms classification. We'll start from there, but the homework is to write the scientific names. Here are the scientific names or binomial nomenclature of man, mango, potato, maize, lion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, write this one also, and as well as the binomial name also. It is also called scientific name. Second question is, you write the definition of classification. What is classification, and what is the need of classification? Okay, so 2 questions. And third one, who is known as the father of taxonomy? Define taxonomy. So definition of taxonomy, father of taxonomy, that is Carolus Linnaeus. So 3 questions you write in copy and complete it as homework. We will continue in the next class. Thank you.